ATL's own Sports Kings with Rob Calloway and Dean Reed is on News and Talk 1380, WAOK, and WAOK.com.
5 minutes after the hour, News and Talk 1380, WAOK, Sports Kings Radio. Rob and Dean hanging out with you another Saturday afternoon in the Sports Kingdom. Appreciate you and yours for tuning in to the show wherever you may be or however you may be listening, either via the radio at 1380 WAOK AM or WAOK.com. We really appreciate it. Of course, the phone number, if you want to chime in, is 404-892-2703. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/SportsKingsATL. Also on Twitter at SportsKings1380. And, of course, we've been talking about it for a good portion of the show. The NBA Finals are underway. Of course, Game 3 is tomorrow from Dallas. And actually, the next 3 games are coming to you live from Dallas. And right now, we're being joined live on the line by a good friend of the show, none other than Mateen Cleaves, former NBA baller, also standout at Michigan State University, currently with Fox Sports Detroit. Mateen, thank you for joining us today, man.
Fellas, what's happening?
Man, it is all good. Of course, as we mentioned, the NBA Finals underway right now. How impressed are you with the way both of these teams are currently playing and what we've seen from them?
Well, I'm really impressed. I think both of the teams are going out there laying it on the floor, and and it's equating to some good basketball. I looked at both of the teams, and it's crazy how games are going because I thought even when Miami won the first game, I said Dallas has nothing to hold their head down for. They didn't play bad. Miami played good. Mm-hmm. And then I looked at it, the way they won, the way Dallas came back and won the second game. The first game, Dallas missed a lot of shots that they usually make, wide open jumpers. Berea didn't play good. Jason Terry didn't play well. And the first game, LeBron made some big shots, and Dwayne Wade came through for him in the end. And I thought Dallas played well. And in the second game, Dallas played the same type of defense. LeBron came out, took a couple of those tough shots. They just didn't go in. And Dallas made the shots and then got the ball to their breadwinner in Dirk Nowitzki. So it's some good basketball, man. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for these next few games to come up.
That's right. Now, speaking of Dirk, Mateen, how much of a level has he turned his game up, and just how good is he playing compared to the rest of the greats in the NBA Finals and for the playoffs, for that matter?
Oh, man. I mean, he's right up there with all of them. It is what it is. He's playing some good basketball. And Dirk Nowitzki might be the best player in the NBA to make shots over good defense. Mm-hmm. Guys are right there all over him, and he knows how to fade and step through and pump so they can get his shot off or get to the line. But I think he's the best player in the game right now is making shots over great defense. So you got to take your hat off to Dirk. He's playing some really good basketball right now.
Sports Kings Radio, News and Talk 1380, WAOK. Rob and Dean being joined live on the line by Mateen Cleaves of Fox Sports Detroit, also former NBA player. Mateen, I scrutinize every portion of a game. And the one thing that has really just been so obvious to me is the fact that, no matter where Miami plays, whether they're on the road or whether they're at home, it just seems like they have the officials in their back pocket. And I've seen LeBron James, make some serious fouls that were not called. And in game 2, we saw Dwayne Wade actually rip into the referee, didn't get a tech. But as soon as Rick Carlisle made a statement to the referees about a play, they hit him with the tech. What do you think about that?
Well, because when we as fans, when we turn in and watch the game, we turn in and watch LeBron James Dwayne Wade. So they want to make sure that they stay in the game. And I was a little disappointed, and I think it was game 1. The referees were making too many calls. At this point, it's the NBA Finals. These guys are the best basketball players in the world, playing on the biggest stage. Let the players decide the game, man. And it's a reason why the referees don't have their name on the back of their jersey. Because we don't want to see them. We don't care about what they do. We want to see the guys. We want to just make sure the players decide the end of the game, and that's what I hope we see there. I think the refs are making too many calls.
Sports Kings Radio, Rob Calloway, Dean Reed on the phone with Mateen Cleaves from Fox Sports, also ex-Michigan State standout and the Detroit Pistons first-round draft pick. Now, closing out games for Miami, Mateen, it seems like the Heat, every time that they're down, they do well. But if they're up and it's late, they seem to just slack off or don't close out well. I mean, is this something that you need to have in you, or is this something that you can learn?
Well, it can go. It can be both. Some of the great ones, had in them. But if you think, Jordan, the guys had to learn. They learned as well. Some people are having in them, but Jordan them had to learn. And with Miami, I think it becomes all this pressure. Whenever they're up and they got to keep a lead, that's when the pressure comes. That's when they start thinking about if they lose, what the paper's going to say, what is the media going to say. I think that's when the pressure comes on for Miami. And I was talking about this the other day. As a coach, they should be winning these games because as a coach, how do you prepare for Miami? How do you prepare to stop Miami? They got Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James on the floor. That's a headache, waiting to happen for any coach to try to put a game plan together to stop those guys, especially down the stretch. And I am a little surprised at the problems that they're having with closing the games out because I watched them the last game. And those last 2 minutes, and probably the last 3 possessions were terrible shots. Shots that they can make. But you look at the Michael Jordan, those guys are getting to the basket. They're going to put the onus on the ref to make a call. And I just think LeBron can bail the defense out sometimes with shooting some of those fadeaway jump shots, which he can make, but I would rather see him get to the basket.
All right. And so, got to ask, what do you think about or how has the emotions – okay, we know that the Miami Heat are very emotional. We see that in LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and especially with Chris Bosh. Now, you look at Jason Kidd and Dirk Nowitzki, the true veterans on that Maverick squad. They don't play with a lot of emotion. They just come out and just play. How do you think the positive for the Mavericks and the negative for the Heat, how do you think those two things are going to play out in this playoff series?
Man, I think it's very important, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And, whether you win, the first game, second game, whatever it is, you got to stay humble. And you got to stay laid back. You got to stay at an even keel. You can't get up too high, if you're playing good or you do win a game. And you get down if you lose a game or you play bad. You got to stay at kind of an even keel. And you got, LeBron, you got Jason Kidd and Dirk. They probably feel like this is it for them. LeBron them might, I know for sure they're going to have a few more chances to try to win it. This is it for those guys. And they've been around, especially, Jason Kidd. He's been there. And I think he helps that team so much. I was talking about nobody understood why Dallas traded Devin Harris and Jason Kidd. And I was one of them. I could not believe it, didn't understand it. But now when you look at the Dallas Mavericks and you look at how they play, you look how poised they are, you look how Jason Kidd gets everybody involved, now I see what Mateen was doing. Hats off to Mateen. We did a great job. And with LeBron, that's something they're going to have to learn, man. You stay at an even keel. And they're going to definitely have to learn how to finish those games out. It ain't about dunks and all that high-fiving and dancing and shimmying and all that,
and
taking the ball. It's about finishing games. And I think if you watch, Dallas do a great job. But you can't count Miami out because one thing about Miami that they got that nobody else has is every time they step on the floor, they got 3 of the best players in the world on their team with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James.
Yes, sir. And finally wrapping it up, Mateen, real quick. Did the Dallas Mavericks come back or did Miami melt down? And who do you like tomorrow?
I would say, it's hard for me to say either way. I think coach-wise, Spoelstra could have did a better job. I thought, they came out of timeouts and didn't get good looks at the basket. That's something I thought they could have done better. They should have fouled. They had a foul again. They didn't do that. And so I think they dropped the ball a little bit on the coaching end. And even, player-wise, they dropped the ball. But then again, like you said, it's hard to say because you got to take your hat off to Dallas because they did what they had to do. They made the right plays, got the ball into the right player's hands, and played great defense. So I can't say either way. But tomorrow game, even though I think Dallas At home, I think Miami will come out hard. I think Miami might go in there and get that.
All right, cool. Great stuff as always, Mateen. And as usual, we appreciate you spending some time with us in the kingdom, man. You know you got the open door policy with us, man. So thanks a lot, buddy.
I appreciate it. Y'all got the number. Hit me anytime.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right on.
Sports Kings Radio, News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Coming up on the other side, we're going to continue the conversations talking about the retirement of Shaquille O'Neal. Also, a story that we really haven't touched on today, and that was the Atlanta Thrashers packing it up and moving to Winnipeg. And we're going to hear from Michael Guerin Jr., part owner of the Atlanta Spirit. And dude had an emotional week.
Oh, this is not him crying, is it?
He had an emotional week.
Oh, Lord. Whew.
Sports Kings Radio, News and Talk 1380
WAOK.